Russian President Vladimir Putin has just signed sweeping legislation that bans what they're calling all LGBT propaganda from the nation. The far-reaching bill, now law, prohibits any and all content that depicts non-traditional sexual relations, gender reassignment, and pedophilia in a positive light. The law extends to all social media platforms, advertising, and mass media such as television and cinema. Now, while the law is being resoundingly denounced by Western leaders, few appear to understand the far deeper civilizational significance behind the law. Stick with me to the very end of this video, and we'll find out why this new law in Russia is just the beginning for similar laws all throughout the world. Putin's signing of the anti-LGBT propaganda law is widely seen as the latest in Vladimir Putin's internationalizing of the culture wars. Putin has long seen the culture wars very differently than we see them. For us, the culture wars are a civil war, right? They play out as Democrat versus Republican or left versus right or ultra MAGA versus Rhino. For Putin, the culture wars are not civil wars. They're a foreign invasion. And that's absolutely key to get in all of this. Wokeness for Putin is not an issue within Russia. Wokeness is a foreign invader that's trying to destroy Russia. And so what Putin has been very effective in doing is weaponizing a radically anti-woke sentiment among both the Russian population as well as the majority of the non-Western world, which is upwards of 80% of the world's population. He's galvanized this massive anti-woke international population in the form of a distinctively civilizational weaponization. Putin's not engaged in so much as a political weaponization or an ideological weaponization per se. The war against the woke West is for Putin a thoroughly civilizational war. It's a clash between two mutually exclusive civilizations, one that promises to be a brave, new, progressive world guided by secular, anti-traditionalist values versus a 1,000-year Russian civilization guided by the bedrock of religion and tradition. That's precisely what Putin has been saying in his speeches from at least 2012, when scholars noted that his speeches took a very stark civilizational turn, that Russia was in a great civilizational conflict with a decadent and decaying West.
Мы видим, как многие евроатлантические страны фактически пошли по пути отказа от своих корней, в том числе и от христианских ценностей, составляющих основу западной цивилизации. Отрицаются нравственные начала и любая традиционная идентичность, национальная, культурная, религиозная или даже половая. Проводится политика, ставящая на один уровень многодетную семью и однополое партнерство, веру в Бога или веру в сатану. Эксцессы политкорректности доходят до того, что всерьез говорится о регистрации партий, ставящих своей целью пропаганду педофилии. Люди во многих европейских странах стыдятся и боятся говорить о своей религиозной принадлежности. Праздники отменяют уже. Или называют их как-то по-другому, стыдливо прячут саму суть этого праздника, нравственную основу этих праздников. И эту модель пытаются агрессивно навязывать всему миру. Убежден, это прямой путь к деградации и примитивизации, глубокому демографическому и нравственному кризису. Что еще может быть большим свидетельством морального кризиса человеческого социума, как не утрата способности к самовоспроизводству? А сегодня практически все развитые страны уже не могут воспроизводить себя, причем даже с помощью миграции. Без ценностей, заложенных в христианстве и других мировых религиях, без формирования без формировавшихся тысячелетиями норм морали и нравственности, люди неизбежно утратят человеческое достоинство. И мы считаем естественным и правильным эти ценности отстаивать. Нужно уважать право любого меньшинства на отличие, но и право большинства. Право большинства не должно быть поставлено под сомнение.
Yeah, apologies there to our podcast listeners who couldn't see the subtitles, but the gist of the speech was that the woke West has largely lost their traditional moral values, which has resulted in an implosion of human dignity, most especially evidenced in the loss of reproduction. For Putin, as he pointed out in his speech, there really is no greater, more poignant sign of social degradation than the loss of what he calls reproductive function. A declining population is indicative of a dying culture. And so Putin, and indeed most of all non-Western nations, see an inextricable link between the advent of what scholars call lifestyle values and the implosion of reproductive function. This is precisely the conclusion of University of London scholar Eric Kaufmann. He argued recently that liberal values undermine procreation precisely because liberal values undermine the family, traditionally understood. Liberalism redefines having children as a mere lifestyle choice and nothing more. And you can't redefine having children as a mere lifestyle choice and expect your society to continue to repopulate. It's what Kaufman calls the soft underbelly of liberalism. In other words, secular liberalism entails its own demographic contradiction. Liberalism necessitates the freedom not to reproduce. And so, as it turns out, secular liberalism is an inherently feudal belief system that by its nature undermines civilization. And that brings us precisely to the rise of Russia as one of the first bona fide civilization states. But first, for you patriot business owners out there, you've got to meet my good friend, Josh Zaglowski, co-founder of ERC Specialist. He has an amazing payroll protection company exclusively dedicated to understanding and maximizing for you what's called the CARES Act Employee Retention Credit. So if you're a small business owner looking to get up to $26,000 per employee back from bumbling Biden, click on that link in the description below to see if you qualify today. It's an absolutely amazing opportunity. We have to understand that what's really at the heart of this legislation, such as this LGBT ban, is that it's all part and parcel of Putin's project of reawakening Russia as a massive civilization state. As we talked about on a number of other videos in this channel, civilization states are states that are redrawing their boundaries around ancient civilizational spheres, like the Slavic Orthodox world of Imperial Russia, the Sino-Confucian sphere of ancient China, and the Hindu nationalist sphere of ancient India. And the key here is that as civilization states, traditional values play a key role, a centralized role in reawakening civilizationalist identity. What we have to understand is that Western globalism is not so much a civilization as it is a system. Globalization is not so much a civilization as a system. It's in many respects an operating system of standardized political and economic protocols connected together by technology and telecommunications. And the key here is that as an operating system, globalism was supposed to be universal. All right, that's what its proponents argued. So that's what we refer to as a rules-based order, which involves checks and balances in government, balance of power, corporate capitalism, and most especially human rights, which involves seeing humans as members of the system rather than as members of a distinctive cultural tradition. And what we're finding is that the vast majority of the non-Western world is more and more turning away from this supposed universal system and re-embracing their own unique cultures, customs, traditions as mechanisms of resistance against it. And the titan of resistance that has risen up is the civilization state in the form of an Orthodox Russia or a Neo-Confucian China or a Hindu nationalist India. And what's so interesting is that all of these nations are each doing their own part in reawakening the traditional family as key to reawakening their traditional civilizations. So we can expect that legislation like what Putin signed is just going to be par for the course as non-Western populations continue to retraditionalize in an increasingly post-globalist, post-secular world. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on woke Hollywood imploding. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on that link and I'll see you over there. God bless.